kids are now being forced, at least at this particular high school, to play in bubbles. I guess we could call this a bubble band, because that's basically what they're doing by forcing these kids to do this because of the coronavirus. So before I get into the actual information in this, just a quick reminder to like this video and to subscribe to the channel as well on YouTube. And if you haven't done already, the best thing you can do is to share this video as well. So getting into this story, this is a band that is at a high school, and they're having pictures like this is what you're seeing, that kids are being forced to be inside of these bubbles and practice. Now, there's a few restrictions here. There's obviously some problems when trying to do this logistically. So first of all, they're saying that they have to play these actual instruments in the bubbles, and then only half the band can practice at one time. So they're already cutting down a portion of the people that are actually able to be in the room at one time. And really the crazy part is that I actually have a degree in music performance. I've been a musician for 20 years, or a little bit more than that. I know how these things work. I know what kind of ensembles that they're trying to put together here. I know the information about what's going on. The biggest problem, or the first problem really, that you're going to be dealing with when you're talking about putting these kids into these isolation tubes, these bubbles like this, is that how are you going to hear? How's the sound going to really travel very well? It's going to be very muffled. Not only, because what's going to happen is that you're going to hear a lot of yourself and very little of anyone else. This guy's got a tube in here. How are you going to do this? To be honest with you, as much as I love music, if I had to do something like this when I was in school, I'd quit. Just leave. I couldn't do stuff like this. So that's the first problem, is that you're not going to be able to hear anything. And if you've ever played music with more than one person before, if you can't hear, you can't really play together. You're not really accomplishing anything. Like when I play in church, sometimes they have the drummers in a kind of an enclosed space, and that's so that the sound doesn't leak out everywhere. But they also have these headphones that they use so they can hear everyone inside of that encapsulation. I doubt these kids are getting this. I am confident they're not getting these types of things. So how are they going to actually play as an ensemble? The other thing too is that they're only allowing half the band to play at one time. So really, what's the goal of that? What, you expect to put everyone back in together and it just somehow work together? You might as well not have band at all. You know, a lot of friends that I had on Facebook, some of them are teachers, music teachers, things like that. All of them, some of them were liberals, and they were saying, I have no problem with all of these lockdowns. Because for them, it was an excuse not to have to teach. Let's be honest here. For a lot of teachers, it's an easy excuse not to teach. The problem is that when schools open back up, the first thing they were talking about getting rid of was music. And now all of a sudden they're like, oh, wait, we don't want those lockdowns anymore. We actually want to be able to still do music. Because they're going to cut all of those programs together. Because they're automatically going to wind up having 20 or more kids in the same room blowing air on each other. Which brings me to my third problem that I have with these bubbles. Look at this guy with his tube in here. See, he has to be able to blow air to go through this instrument, okay? The problem is that how much oxygen are they getting in these things? I mean, nobody wants to be breathing in their own hot air while they're playing an instrument that they are required to blow into. So there's so many problems that kind of arise with this situation that I have to wonder, why even bother in the first place? Like, if you're gonna open the schools, just open the schools. Allow for the bands and these groups to get together and practice as they were before. Kids are extremely, extremely low risk. Young people in general are low risk. The statement here in the article is that children have a greater chance of dying in a car crash than to actually do it from the coronavirus. But yet that is exactly what they're doing when they are putting these kids in these isolation situations, is that I feel bad for the kids. I really feel bad for the students that have to deal with this, because the parents have done nothing about this. They have not spoken out about it. They have not said anything about it. If it was my children, I would say something about this, because they deserve a good education. And this is a pure waste of time. There's nobody on earth that can explain how this is actually beneficial or even remotely as good as the real thing. It isn't. It only hurts the situation of all of it. You know, the next thing they'll probably do is have all of these people in a band, and they'll say, okay, well, everybody needs to be 20 feet apart from each other. Well, guess what? If you're 20 feet apart, you probably can't hear each other very well. It's going to be kind of hard to see one conductor in one place if you're all spread out all over the place. All this stuff is doing is hurting students and their chances to be able to do what it is they want to do. And Sure, this kid's probably here kind of laughing right now at this joke, but this is not right. This is child abuse, and I can't think of any other way to explain it other than that. But with that being said, I thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one.